Hey folks, Jeremy Whaley here from Trade Maestro. Hope you're doing fantastic today. And I've got a video I want to share with you looking at Bitcoin and Tesla and some of these stocks that have just moved really big recently, some of these trades in general, not just stocks. And there's one trade setup in particular that has presented in all these cases. And if you'll learn how to see this trade setup, you can make a lot of money on it. So I want to share it with you, and then you can apply it in your own trades. I've called this video the explosive Bollinger Bands trading setup that you must know. And you're going to know why I use the word explosive here momentarily. But before we get there, I got to run the disclaimers. So let's watch the disclaimer, and I'll see you on the other side. Here we go. All right, there we go. Consider yourselves disclaimed. Legal people say we have to do that. Folks, it has been a very interesting year. Very interesting couple of years, actually, as we've gotten into this crypto winter. And now it's broken out again, and Bitcoin's on fire, crypto's on fire, lots of opportunities. And I want to show you how we knew some of this was coming. I didn't do a lot of it on social media, but in our Sunday night groups, I was talking about it and setting these trades up. I'm going to show you some of the things that we were looking at. And in particular, there's one trade setup, one signal that we saw happening. And it's happened on Tesla, it's happened on Bitcoin, it's happened on Target. To the downside, it happened on Target. We'll go look at some of these stocks here in just a minute. Listen, if you think you're going to get something out of this video, you know what you need to do? You need to go like and subscribe right now. You want to learn something? It is proven when you click the subscribe button, you learn more. Okay, so if you haven't liked and subscribed, go do that. And let's jump into it. The setup that I'm going to talk about is called a Bollinger Band squeeze. If you're not familiar with Bollinger Bands, let me just kind of show that to you really fast here before we go any further. You're seeing Bollinger Bands on this chart right now. So these kind of turquoise lines here. Yeah, going up and down like that. So that's what a Bollinger Band is. And what I want to do is I want to talk about one particular setup called the Bollinger Band squeeze. And here's what happens in a Bollinger Band squeeze. It occurs when the two Bollinger Bands come together and they create a squeeze. Literally, they come together. I'm going to show this to you in a moment. During this period, what happens, you have a period of very low volatility for that trade, whether it's stock, crypto, whatever. You have a very, very low period of volatility. And when that volatility comes in and it gets pinched together, squeezed, it has to do something. It has to have a break. And when that break happens, more often than not, it is an explosive break. Yay! Guess what explosive breaks mean? It means trading opportunity. So whenever you're frustrated with a stock, it's not going anywhere. You're frustrated with your crypto, it's not going anywhere. Or your Forex pair or futures contracts, whatever it is that you're trading, and it's not going anywhere, it's just stuck, and you look at your Bollinger Bands and they start to give you the signal, be encouraged because it's going to break. Now, the challenge is you don't know which way it's going to break, but it is going to break, and if it breaks, there's an opportunity. So let me show you what it looks like here. These are Bollinger Bands. You'll notice, I'm going to circle this in yellow. This was a break to the downside, and now that whole move has happened, and now it's starting to squeeze again. You see how those turquoise lines kind of squeezed together and then they expanded and they squeeze together and they expand. That is what I'm talking about. That is your Bollinger Band squeeze. And that creates a trading opportunity. In fact, it's one of the best signals, really about the only signal that I ever look at on the Bollinger Bands. There's other signals on the Bollinger Bands, but this is the money-making signal right here. So I'm going to share it with you. Let's get over to our charts over here. This is TradingView. If you're not familiar with TradingView, it's a fantastic HTML5 version of charting software. Works extremely well on all platforms with all issues. It works for stocks, crypto, Forex, all of it, futures. All right, take a look over here. This is Bitcoin. I want to bring this one up because Bitcoin's been moving big lately. And I want to show you a couple things on this chart that are of interest regarding this Bollinger Band squeeze. First thing I want to draw your attention to is the squeeze itself. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that right there. The squeeze itself. Most recently, in mid-June here, you see how it kind of squeezed together, got a little tight there, and then it broke out, and it's been moving big. But if you come all the way back to the beginning of the year, look how tight the squeeze was back here. Oh, yeah. And that was when I first started talking about this in our Sunday night group, is how tight it was. And I told them then, I said, look, this thing's going to blow. It's going to go one way or the other. And sure enough, back then, Bitcoin was 17,000. Now we're over 30,000. Okay, so it's almost 100% gain in just a few months here. And along the way, we've had several other opportunities. And what you're going to notice is along this journey, what you'll have is you'll have the breakout, and then it goes sideways usually, just like that. And then it will set up in some sort of a new version. Here was another squeeze here. It broke out, got into a channel, and here's our most recent one, okay? Now, what I want to show you in here is part of the signals. Straight below your Bollinger Bands is a blue line, and this is the Bollinger Bandwidth Indicator. A lot of people don't even know this thing exists. What it does is it measures the distance between these bands, measures that spacing in there, and it plots it across the bottom. So when you see a very high Bollinger Bandwidth, like in these examples here, this one's getting big over here. When you see a very high Bollinger Bandwidth, you know that volatility has gone very, very high for your Bollinger Bands, and the trade's not going to go very far. What you're looking for next is you're looking for it to pull away. And this is actually one of the core Bollinger reversal signals. They call it that. It's the Bollinger reversal. When the bands are going higher and higher and the price is pulling away from it. That's a signal that the move has slowed down. It's, maybe it's going to reverse. Maybe it's going to just go sideways, but the explosiveness is done. When the explosiveness is about to happen is at the beginning when those bands are squeezed together and this Bollinger Bandwidth is very, very low. Okay. Now you can actually scan for this. I used to do a scan on this looking for the lowest Bollinger Bandwidth of the last 6 months. And if I found a trade, like I say, it could be any of them, works for all of them. If I found a trade that was the lowest Bollinger Bandwidth of the last 6 months, odds are it was looking like this right here. And then I could go look at it and we set the trade up. Okay. So you can see that across here. Just most recently in June, we had, looks like it was around June 18th or so, we had very low Bollinger Bandwidth. It was actually a little bit lower late May, and it kind of started to move to the downside, and then it reversed very quickly here, and then boom. And here's the entry. Here's the signal right here. When it breaks out above the Bollinger Bands, that's the signal. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, in the case of back in last January, when we broke above the Bollinger Bands. And you see, I hope you can see it here, those candles are pushing to the outside of the Bollinger Band. What that's showing is it's showing all this momentum, and it's just got all this explosive energy that's literally coming out. Lots of money-making opportunity there. In the case of this first one here back in January, we'll just look at it here. We broke out. It was like 17, 18,000. And it started slowing down. It was around 23,000. That's percentage-wise, that's a really big move, right? And a lot of people made a lot of money on that one. It was a good one. Then it kind of stabilized, got stuck here for a little bit. And then we had another big explosive move. And now we've had another big explosive move. Now, I think the future for Bitcoin is huge. I think the future for crypto is huge. Doesn't really matter what I think. This is a great trading opportunity, right? So it doesn't matter if you like Bitcoin or not. It doesn't matter if you like crypto or not. It was a great trade setup. Briefly here, I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin. Then we're going to look at some more of these. So I'm going to turn my lines on. We had these trades set up. I've deleted a few of them. I left the most recent one on here. We've had these trades set up for several weeks. We just hit our next target on Bitcoin. Okay, so this most recent one, we had an entry at 740, excuse me. And we had a target up here at 30,530. We are on that pivot right now. And you'll notice that it's pulling away from our Bollinger Band. So does that mean it's going to reverse? Not necessarily reverse, but it's time to take some profit. And if it dips down a little bit, you can re-enter. There's a lot of ways we can trade it. That's really beyond the scope of this video, different ways we can approach it. But ultimately, I do expect crypto, or Bitcoin, I should say, I do expect Bitcoin to get back to its highs. I expect it'll be back up in the 60, 65, 70,000 and beyond range. Okay, I expect that eventually. But what you're noticing here is I'm not teaching you about what your expectations are. I'm not teaching you about what your philosophy of crypto is. I'm teaching you how to trade it. And this is one of the biggest things that I have seen with crypto traders in particular is they just buy and hold. They call it HODL, right? Hold on for dear life. And then they ride all this emotion of crypto. And I'm going to do some other videos on why that's actually bad for the crypto market, why it's bad to just HODL, because it actually ends up hurting the market, believe it or not. But for you as an individual trader, what you need to know is buying crypto is great, but it doesn't do you any good just to hold it. You need to buy it and trade it. You need to do with it what we do with stocks and what we do with options and what we do with Forex. When you learn to do that, there's a ton of opportunity here. I mean, like the amount of money-making opportunity in crypto is just unbelievable, but you need to learn how to look at it. And you need to look at it the same way that we do at stocks and options and these other instruments. So that's my soapbox for that. Let's talk about Bollinger Bands some more. I want to show you how it happened on Tesla, because this is another one that happened on, also happened on NVIDIA, I think. We'll look at NVIDIA because I clicked on it first. Here, I'll get rid of all these lines because you don't have to understand all these lines to understand what I'm going to teach you here. Let's take this one full screen. Look at NVIDIA back in April. See how tight this squeeze was? And it just slowly started working its way out. It finally broke out about a week before the earnings announcement when the really, really big breakout happened. And look where we've been going since then. We've made a few moves, but it's been mostly pretty quiet, relatively speaking, as opposed to where the explosiveness was. Look at where our Bollinger Bandwidth was. It was super, super low. Okay, that's what you're looking for right there. You're looking for that really, really low Bollinger Bandwidth, really, really tight Bollinger squeeze, and then it starts to break, and boom, you go with it, and you go make some money with it, okay? This happened on Tesla. I mentioned Tesla, so we'll pull up Tesla here. And for some reason, TradingView is a little slow tonight. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. It's getting here. All right, notice right here in May, look how tight the squeeze had become right here where my cursor is, where I'm circling. Look how low the Bollinger Bandwidth indicator was, showing how far down it had come, or how low the bandwidth was. And that set us up for this explosive move. And now it's starting to pull back a little bit. So we had these trades set up as well. I'll show you, just in case you don't believe me. These were some of our Sunday night trades. We actually had this one set up for an entry on May 31st, and an entry at 199, it looks like, and a target up here at 253. So that was exactly the trade that we expected. We overshot our target just a little bit, but it reversed the next day. So that was the trade we did right there. And part of it, not the only thing, there was other things we looked at too, but part of it was that Bollinger squeeze that told us, yeah, okay, Tesla's moving now. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Happened on Target recently. And I want to use Target because, a lot of times people think that the news is what's driving the trade. It's really not. Watch this. It's all sentiment. It's all the way that people feel about it. The news happened with Target and all the boycotts and stuff, but the momentum had already turned. And take a look at where my cursor is right here. You see that? Okay, so now here's what happens. Because the boycotts and all these news event-driven things happen, people think that their boycotts are working. So people are out there saying, oh, yeah, look how much Target's sold off. It's not, folks. Get over it. You're not that powerful. I'm sorry. You can stop shopping at Target. It's not going to matter. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just not. Congratulations, you boycotted. Whoopee. Okay, here's what's really happening, folks. What's really happening is we had all of that energy that was pent up. It needed to break somewhere. The news event drove it down, went down here. Now look at what's happening. Now we're coming off of the news event. Look, we're getting set up for another phase of this. Look how low our Bollinger Bandwidth is. It's very, very low. Okay, we're getting set up for another phase of this. And that's not a mysterious price point that we dropped to. Not sure how far back I have to go, but that is a known support level. Now, we overshot some of the more recent support levels. Okay, so we overshot it. Whoop-de-doo. It didn't put the company out of business. All it did was drove us down, fulfilled the energy that was already built up there, that trading energy. That's why I call it an explosive move. It's built up, ready to explode. And now, look at what we're putting in here. Inverted head and shoulders. This thing's probably reversing pretty soon. It's not confirmed yet. Don't go take that trade. It's not confirmed yet. But it's probably going to be reversing pretty soon. There's another crypto I want to look at. I think it was ADA. Cardano. Take a look at this. This was a huge move that was what's the word I'm looking for? It was set up by the Bollinger Bands. Take a look at this. Again, a bearish one. I wanted to show you a couple bulls and a couple bears. And so tight. So tight. It can't stay there forever, folks. That's why this is such a powerful signal. And so you see that Cardano sold off bigly. Now, it may not seem like it's that much, but from 38 cents down to 28 cents, that's 10 cents per token. That's like 25% for a 38-cent token. That's a pretty sizable move, right? And now it's setting up again. Okay, so we'll see where it goes from here, but when it breaks out, we'll be ready for it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the breakout and the setup. Here's the breakout picture that you're looking for. Once it gets into the squeeze, you're looking for the candle to drop down outside the band, and then you enter on the next candle. Okay, so looking for it to drop down outside the band, or in the case of the bullish break, to break to the upside. Break to the upside above the Bollinger Band. Now, there's also a situation called a false break, or it's a squeeze that has a false breakout. And I'll show you because there's one on here, and here's how it looks. Okay, so you see we were in a very, very tight Bollinger squeeze. We had the candle that broke out, and then the next day, it started to go the other direction. When you see that, if you have the general rule, it's not really a black and white rule, but it's about the next 3 to 5 trading sessions, if you see a reversal candle formation on that upper Bollinger Band, like 90% of the time, you can short the trade and target the bottom Bollinger Band and it will work. It's a little scalping trade in there. So I know I'm getting way more beyond what I meant to do in this video, but I can't help it. All right, so there you go. I've shared it with you. Kind of went through all of it. Let me recap some of this stuff with you. Okay, so when the Bollinger Bands squeeze really, really tight, it can't help it. There's got to be an explosive move. Could break upside. It could break to the downside. When the first candle closes on the outside of the Bollinger Bands, if it's to the upside, you're looking at the next day for confirmation and you take the trade to the upside. If it breaks to the downside, you look for the next day's confirmation and you trade it to the downside. And then you're going to trade it typically to your next pivot area. Take your profits and turn around and look for the next trade. If it has a false break, if it breaks to the outside and then it reverses within 3 to 5 trading sessions, just either get out of the trade or you can trade it to the other side of the bands. It's high probability of going there. All right. Did you guys learn something out of this thing? I hope you did. If you haven't done so already, sorry, my slides are not moving nearly as fast as my brain. If you haven't done so already, like and subscribe so you can get all the alerts of everything that is coming up. And if you haven't checked us out over at trademaestro.com, please go to trademaestro.com, check us out, take some free stuff over there and learn as much as you can. If you have any questions, send us an email, help@trademaestro.com, help@trademaestro.com. Thank you for watching. Hope this has been helpful for you. And until next time, happy trading to all of you. We'll talk to you soon.